welcome to another edition of Feminist Forum. I'm your host, Lavinia, and today we're pleased to have on our show two very prominent authors from the classical and romantic periods in literature. On my right is former First Lady Abigail Adams, and on my left is the controversial author Amandine or Lucille Dupin, also known as George Stamps. Welcome, ladies. Let's start with you, Abigail. What was it like being a feminist in the late 1700s? What did you do during that time? Did you stage a couple of protests on the White House lawn?
I doubt that very much we could. As it was, barely being finished as my husband took office. I wouldn't exactly call myself a feminist either, dear. I would define it more as being properly advised of one's rights. There was not much I could do physically to help the cause of women, but I did talk to my husband pleading for the...
You talked to your husband about it. Thank you, Abigail. And what about you, Amandine? What did you do to further the cause of women?
Look, Abigail, may I go on the record as saying George is my name now. I found it interesting when more people responded to my book when I signed it with the nom de plume George Sand. Only my mother calls me a girl now.
Prefer to be called by a man's name? My dear Aurora, the women's movement is an illustrious cause, but one can go too far.
Madame, Aurora is dead. I am George now. We reached an understanding, no?
Oh, of course, I understand perfectly. Aurora?
Ladies, please, let's not start a fight. George, what have you done? What kind of books have you written?
Well, I believe that women should live their lives and love in their own special way. And I've expressed that explicitly in my books. Especially this one called Indiana. It's about a woman whose unhappy marriage forces her into a love affair with a noble-born gentleman.
Very interesting.
And then I wrote another book called Valentine. And then I wrote another one called Layla. Oh, and here's my favorite. It's called Consuelo.
That's very nice, dear. But what have you done? I was going to say, when I was so rudely interrupted, that when I was married to John, the President of the United States, he and I would discuss political matters. In fact, one could say that I had a certain political influence over John in matters pertaining to women. I also managed single-handedly one daughter, 3 sons, and the family farm all at the same time.
Okay, what about your work as an author? What books have you written?
Well, in my lifetime, my work wasn't published, but my grandson, Charles Francis, published 2 volumes of the various letters I wrote to my
Letters? You only wrote letters? Sacre merde. In my lifetime, I wrote lengthy novels about the way that the social classes would be united by brotherly love and about how slavery would be abolished. I was a journalist, a travel writer, a playwright, and an autobiographer, if I might add. In fact, my most celebrated work was my novel, The Story of My Life. And you call yourself an author.
Well, at least I helped my country in a most decorous fashion, instead of gallivanting around France, indulging scandalous activities with all sorts of people wearing men's clothing and smoking cigars.
This is a cigarette. First. Secondly, those sorts of people were the creme de la creme of the cultural elite. They were authors like Alexandre Dumas, and poets like Alfred de Musset, and musicians like Franz Liszt and Frédéric Chopin. But you wouldn't know anything about that, you uneducated American.
Call me uneducated if you wish. I admit, I didn't have the kind of education that I insisted for my children, but at least I didn't alienate them. In the case of your daughter, who, might I add, was illegitimate.
Those were unsubstantiated rumors. But anyways, I showed love for my daughter, and love for my friends and my colleagues, which is more than I can say for you, American virginal prude.
Oh, really, Aurora? You French persons make me sick. I'd like to have you call that right now to my face.
Ladies, please.
All right. You are an impassioned, sexist, American prude.
Hello, I'm Edgar Allen Poe, born January 19th, 1809.
Oh, thank you for watching Feminist Forum. Join us next time when my guests are the Pillsbury Joe Boy and Susan D. Anthony. Goodbye, and now the pool hall scene.
A pool hall. Somewhere in the deepest, darkest regions of Arkansas.
This one, go ahead, bring it. Hey.
Romanticism.
Hey, Rupert, this guy's speaking Swahili or something. Let's tar and feather him. I don't. Wait a minute. Let's hold on with tar and feather. I think I know this boy. This be Franz Peter Schubert.
It's Schubert, you Schweinhund!
Oh, Schubert. How uncouth of me. What a silly and cultured bull I am. Ruprecht, put on that tape. I just happened to have lying around.
Faster than a greased pig. This is Schubert's 8th Symphony, aka his unfinished symphony. Other works include Gretchen Am's Svenade and the Earl King, which of course is a lovely little ditty which typifies the romantic period's obsession with death.
Ah, yes, the Earl King. The little boy has a discussion with death. He tells his father, which totally ignores him, that he's struggling with death. Ergo, the kid bites the big one.
Yes, but of course, Schubert had very humble beginnings. He was born to a poor schoolmaster on January 31st, 1797, grew up composing, playing the violin, and of course, conducting. In fact, he was only 18 when he wrote the Earl King. Very young. Leipzig.
He planned a trip from Vienna to Hungary in 1828, where he contracted typhus and keeled over 5 days later.
Yeah, I remember that day. It was very traumatic. Me dying and all.
Watch it, you old punk.
How's it going, Ruprecht?
Schubert wasn't appreciated during his lifetime. In fact, only relatively recently have works such as Ave Maria and, of course, the Earl King been appreciated.
Yeah. Where's the Benzema?
Uh-huh.
Where's the can, you goons?
Oh, go to the front, ask the bouncer Bruno for the key, and you go to the 51st door on the right.
Thanks.
That was a pretty good one. For the 51st door is the poison dart one.
I know.
Alright. That wasn't that amazing though?
Yeah, it was
Like
amazing.
that? So, hey, I think I see Tchaikovsky over there. Let's go.
Hello, I'm still Edgar Allan Poe. Did you know that I wrote The Masque of the Red Death? You didn't? Boy, are you stupid. Here, catch.
Hello, and welcome to Bonnie the Gazelle. Today we'll be focusing on...
I swear, if you come one step closer, I'll do it, man. Do it!
Alright.
Yeah!
Hello, and welcome to Barney the Gazelle. Today on Barney the Gazelle, we'll be concentrating on neoclassical and romantic art. Well, first of all, neoclassical art use a small array of colors and featured subjects such as people, places, things, and other objects. Whereas romantic art used deco colors and subjects included sunny days and fat nude women.
Excuse me, but you really don't know what you're talking about, do you?
You're right. I don't know what I'm talking about. I've been living a lie. I know nothing about art. I thought I could impress people. No one appreciates beat philosophy. I'm very bitter and I hate those damn bull zucchini idealists.
You have problems.
I don't care if you think that you're into that raisin bran theology or that cheese souffle existentialism or that guava mango Hinduism. It's my turn to waste time, and I'll do it in a more constructive manner. Excuse me. Now, neoclassical art was logical and very exact. Much of it praised its subjects, like as this picture. This is a sculpture of Voltaire. Stop. You guys. This is a sculpture of Voltaire wearing drapery of antiquity. Many works tried to imitate works from ancient Rome and Greece, or depicted subjects from that glorious age. A prime example of neoclassical preciseness is this painting, Experiment with the Air Pump by Joseph Wright of Derby, painted in about 1768. Neoclassics were also obsessed by humanity. There were portraits, and more portraits. Now, excuse me, I have to go take my toast break.
The emergence of the Romantic period saw many changes in attitude about art. Francisco Goya was the last great painter of the 18th century and the first of the 18th. He was classical in that he focused on humanity, but romantic that he showed humankind's evil. Reason struggles with the blackness of the heart. His later paintings show a nightmarish world with the urge to destroy. And that is on page 261. Right here. This portrayal of the execution of hostages after France's invasion of Spain in 1808 doesn't so much put down France as it reveals the brutality of all humans. The angry emotion is vividly put across to the dramatic brush strokes. See?
I'm Edgar Allan Poe, and I'm looking for a real good fight.
Good afternoon and welcome to the match of the day. Broadcasting from Bolton, Biggles brings you the big Beethoven Brahms brawl, brought to you by Bob Barker's Boxes. If you want to be buried in the best, buy Bob Barker's Boxes. And hey, what are you doing? That's my bum.
Sorry about my colleague there, but she tends to get carried away with her alliteration. She comes from a broken home and all. I think it has something to do with her rutabaga. But anyways, you can see we're preparing for the bout between Brahms and Beethoven. Oh, damn alliteration. Well, anyway, today's match is, of course, the classical versus the romantic period. As you can see, Brahms is the first to enter the arena, and he, of course, is accompanied by his trainer, Robert Schumann, who, even though he died in 1856, was still able to make it here tonight. Naturally, he and Brahms have been good friends since Schumann hailed him as the future of German music. And once Schumann died, Brahms and Schumann's wife, Clara, became good friends. Nudge, nudge, I mean. But anyway, back to the fight. As you can see, Beethoven has also entered the ring, and is also back from the dead this evening, but he was supposed to be accompanied by Joseph Haydn, who was not able to attend tonight's event due to a rather bad case of decomposition. Now, the main argument that is there of this evening's event is a heated conversation between Beethoven and Brahms in which many accusations were exchanged. Brahms reportedly said that the classical period neglected the individual in its philosophy, that the greatest happiness for the greatest of number of people was the most important. Based on that, Brahms called him a communist, which is rather amazing considering that when Beethoven died, Karl Marx was only 9 years old. Beethoven came back and said that Brahms is just jealous because he was always trying to compete to outperform his music. In response to that, Brahms made several gestures that, due to decency laws, were not permitted to show you.
although I can assure you they were quite interesting. Before Brahms and Beethoven begin the brawl, we'd like to bring our boring broadcast back to the... Hey!
Sorry about my colleague there, but as you can hear, he's not at all himself today. I'm exactly sure what he is, but so what? Anyway, as you can see, the bout or fight is about to begin. Comments. As you can see, that is the official. Arlo Q. Bonwacke is telling them the rules, and there's a handshake. And here they come out of their corners, and here's the first punch. And they both go down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's a double knockout. What a match!
Oh. Hello all again. I think you know who I am by now. Did you know that I was lying unconscious in the street before anyone noticed me, picked me up and took me to the hospital? I eventually died. One Baltimore paper said I died of congested brain.
Oh, my head! Does anybody have an Advil?